Hey guys, and welcome back. I just wanted to run through a quick walkthrough for doing a Nikon firmware update, basically for any of the cameras. So let's jump in. I'm going through a sequence where I'm trying to save you some time and just make it a breeze, basically. First things first, back up your camera settings. So what you do is remove your CF Express card so that you only have an SD card in your camera. Now I'm working specifically on the Nikon Z8, but this will also apply to any other camera that has multiple card slots. So make sure that you are on an SD card. Next up, you will go and format your SD card. This is quite important, especially when you are attempting to do the backup from your computer. So you go into your menu, setup menu, and then all the way at the top there will be format memory card. You go in there, and as you can see, my CF Express card is removed, so it only shows SD card slot. This also just makes it more safe for you if you have some photos or something still on your CF Express card, that you don't accidentally format that card and lose it. But you go into SD card slot and select it, and then go to yes and select OK on your D-pad. Select yes, and then it'll format the card. Next up, you would want to copy your camera settings to that SD card. So for doing that, you go into your menu and then go up in the setup menu. So go into your setup menu, go up, and then you will see save load menu settings. Go in there, and then you can select save menu settings, and this will save the settings to the SD card. Next up, take your SD card, remove it from your camera, put it in your computer, and then copy that file that you have on there and save it somewhere on your computer, or back it up to like external storage or wherever you want that. After you've done that, you put your SD card back into your camera, and the reason for this is that you need to format it again, but you can't format it using your computer. I've tried that, and sometimes it's not compatible with Nikon's firmware update sequence. So you have to remove your SD card after you've copied your settings onto your computer. Remove the SD card from your computer, put it into your camera again, and then once again you go and do the same. Go into your menu, into setup menu, and then say format memory card, SD card slot, and select yes, and then format the SD card. At this point, you can remove your SD card and take it back to your computer. Now, make sure while you are busy doing your firmware download and that's on the computer, make sure that you have your camera's battery charged up efficiently. By that I mean at least, I think they say 50%, but I would say just try and make it as full as you can, at least maybe 70 or 80%, and charge your battery while you are busy downloading. So that's quite an important step. Your battery needs to be charged to run the firmware update. You don't want to go through the whole process and then start installing, and then it says you can't install because of the battery being too low. Alright, so next up we'll go back to downloading the firmware. So I'll drop the link down in the description below, but you go to that link that is Nikon's download center, and on here you'll see if you have a firmware update that was recently released, it'll be under this what's new tab. Like for instance, the Z8 is over here at the top, the Z6 and all the latest firmware updates will be here. If it's not there, you can go into the product name and then search the product. If you know it's a mirrorless camera, go to mirrorless camera, select Z series, and then over here you can select your camera. Mine is the Z8, so I go there. Then from this page you'll see, and for anyone who's new to Nikon, you can also get all your manuals and, like for example, the N-log specifications over here, technical guides and all that. Everything is over here, and you can download that from this page as well. The other thing that you can also do is you can go to software, and there you can also get the NX Studio, Tether and all those software, and also your N-log LUT if you need that, so you can go head over there. But today we are going under firmware, and there you can see the latest firmwares for the Z8. So we are going to try and install the latest version 2.10, and it was released on 26th of February. Then you can just click on view download page. So from here you'll see they give you some instructions or just some information about it, the changes that happened in in this firmware update. Changes from the previous versions. That's quite a long one, going all the way back to the first version of firmware for this camera. Viewing the camera firmware version, and then it just shows you how to view the firmware version on your camera. Product description, and then the last one is updating the camera firmware. So this is also a walkthrough with instructions of how to install the firmware update on your camera. So we are going to follow this, obviously just with some tips and tricks from our own experience. Alright, so right at the bottom you'll see the end user license agreement, and there you can just click accept if you accept the terms, obviously, like we have a choice, but then you can just click download and it will download the file onto your computer, probably somewhere in your download folder I'm on Mac, so I'm not sure exactly how Windows works, but download that. And if you can't find it, you can also go up to the top here. Let me just download it so you can see. So in your browser you should have something pop up once the download starts, as you can see there, and then you can just follow that file over here to wherever it was saved on your computer. After that, you copy that file over to your SD card, the SD card that was formatted inside of the camera. Put it back in your computer, copy the firmware file from your computer to the SD card, and make sure that it's in the root folder, meaning that it's not inside any other folder besides the SD card. So once you go inside the SD card, the file must already just lie in the directory there. The file is not supposed to be in any folder. Alright, after you've done that, hopefully your camera battery has been charged up enough, and then you can remove the SD card, put it back into your camera, and at this point we are going to perform the firmware update. Right, so once you insert the SD card into your camera, go and select menu, go to your setup menu and go to firmware version. Over here it will say done, update and delete firmware update files. So it will show your current firmware version and then the lens firmware version if you have a lens connected to your camera. So for the camera you go to update and then select OK, and it will show current 2.01 and then new firmware is 2.10. Go there and click OK, and then it will start the firmware update if your battery has been charged. Just leave it and let it run through, and then once it's done it will reboot and everything will be done. And then when you go into your settings, back to menu, setup menu and firmware version, it'll just show camera with the firmware version 2.10 or whatever the latest version was that you installed, and there's no option for updating. It'll just say done and that's it. After you've updated, you can then go back into your menu, go to setup menu and then format your SD card slot again. Remove the SD card and put it back in your computer, and then you can copy that file that you saved for your settings menu. Copy that file back onto your SD card, remove the SD card from your computer, put it back into your camera, and then we go into menu again, setup menu, and then save load menu settings, and then this time you are going to load the menu settings, and this will then put all your setup menu for your custom settings bank and your shooting menu bank back onto your camera, and you will be right back where you left off before you did the firmware update. And that's it. I hope this is helpful, and if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful at all, please drop a like on it so it can be shared with more people who are searching for the same thing that you are. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.